A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Friday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, as usual, there's a lot to talk about on the show tonight. Of course, we're talking about the IAAF World Athletics Championship. Team Nigeria unveiled. We're going to be talking about the athletes that will fly Nigeria's flag right there in Doha. We're going to be talking about the 2020 African Nations Championship qualifiers on the show as well. We're also going to be, giving a thought to rugby, spreading a thought for rugby, talking about the opening game, the opening ceremony, what Japan has been able to put together. We'll also travel to England, talk about the English Premier League. It doesn't get better than Liverpool taking on Chelsea. We'll talk about that all for you on the show today. We'll also do our best to, take a look at some of the things happening here in Nigeria. We'll also try to x-ray the chances of Nigeria in that CHAN qualifier against Togo. Hopefully, we hope to touch down in Lome and link up with the media officer of the home-based Super Eagles. Hopefully, we're able to do that and get his thoughts, know how the boys are doing as they prepare for that big game on Sunday. We'll also try to get other perspectives, talking about the big one that a lot of people are expecting to see, the Super Eagles of Nigeria taking on the Samba Boys of Brazil. We'll try to get different shades of perspective to see, feel the pulse of the people and know what they're thinking about. It's eagerly anticipated, so we'll see what happens in that one. Of course, that's the outlook of the show today. Let's bring you into all that we're doing. Let's allow you to be a part of what we're doing on the show tonight. On a special night like this, we need you to tell us how you feel, talk about issues on the show, issues raised. You can give your opinions on it on Facebook channels for Sports and on Twitter channels _sports. That's how you can get your thoughts out there. And need I tell you that we're global, we're international. Trust us. Once you say it, it's out there. And we always like to let you know, even when the show ends, the conversation never ends. Let's keep it going. You can read up on all our top stories. You have them on www.channelstv.com. You can view those top stories. You can see them on youtube.com/channelsweb. Then you take it a step further. If what you have, you download the Channels TV app for your Android and the iOS from their respective stores, and you will be able to view your award-winning Channels television. You'll be able to view us live and, of course, carry us with you anywhere you go across the globe. And it ensures that you're not missing out on anything. And it's really very simple simple steps. And before you know it, you're onto us and you're viewing us and we're with you 247. That's what we do right here on Channels Television. All right, so let's start with athletics. Let's take a look at the 25 athletes that will be representing Nigeria in Doha, talking about the IAAF World Athletics Championship. Let's quickly run through the names. You have it right there. Team Nigeria, Doha 2019 list. Women's 100 and 200. Blessing Okagbere, the golden girl, will be representing Nigeria. All the best to her. Women's 400 meters. Patience Okon-George and Favor Ofili, the ladies that will be representing us in that one. Women's 100-meter hurdles. We have Toby Amushon. We expect her to light up the space in that one. Women's long jump. Another lady that a lot is expected from. Talking about Ace Brume. So that's it for those ones. Women's shot put. Oyeshade Olatoye is one of the athletes we're expecting to, make us proud right there in Doha. Women's discus throw. Chioma Onyekwere. It's the lady that we'll expect to do us, make us proud. Women's 4 by 100 meters relay. Rosemary Chikuma makes the cut. Bukola Jasper and Miabata in that one. Messi also makes the list. Blessing Ogudiran there as well, and Joy Udo Gabriel in that one. You have 5 of them in there. And of course, between them, you're going to have a quartet that will represent Nigeria in the 4x100 relay. Okay, so that's for the ladies. Let's also talk about the ladies. I mean, a lot is expected from the ladies, really. That's where our strength lies these days. Talking about the ladies that seem to be getting it right and the ones putting us on the map for the right reasons. Let's talk about the 4x400 meters relay. You have Abike Egbeni, Patience Go George, Favor of Philly, Blessing Oladoye, and a namesake also making the cut in that one. So you have 5 of them for the 4x400 women's relay. So that's it for the athletes that will be representing Nigeria. Wish them all the best when the competition begins, and we'll see what happens, whether or not our seeming dominance of the African continent, if the African Games is anything to go by, whether or not it was a flash in the pan or truly we were that good. So we're going to see when athletes face up, square off against the world's elites in those different events. We're going to see how we measure up. And there's going to be a litmus test for how ready we are for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Also, let's bring you this one. At some point, we will be going to Kaduna to have a chat with the technical director of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. But before we do that, let's quickly talk about this one. Talking about the IAAF dangling a huge sum of money on winners and people who set new records. The International Associations of Athletics Federation, that's talking about the IAAF, has announced $7.53 million as prize money for the 2019 World Athletics Championship holding in Doha, Qatar. In a statement issued by the IAAF, athletes from Nigeria and other participating countries who set new records in individual events will get $100,000. That's huge. And prize money for individual events, for gold, you get $60,000, or silver, $30,000, bronze, $20,000. And fourth place, I mean, you still get something, $15,000. In the relays, gold medalist gets $80,000 for the silver members of that relay team. In between themselves, go home with $40,000. For the ones that are in the bronze category, go home with $20,000. Fourth place will not leave empty, and they'll go with $16,000. That's it for what the IAAF is doing to stimulate, I must say, to encourage the athletes to push themselves and probably set new records and do well at the World Athletics Championship that's going to go down in Qatar, shortly. All right, so that's the piece of news coming from the IAAF. So we leave it at that, and hopefully Nigerians will benefit from that windfall. Our athletes will get probably something from it, hoping that they get to do well. All right, so as we go on the show, I told you earlier that we will be linking up with Sunday Adeleye. I'm very sure any moment from now we get to do that. We'll be linking up with him, and let's see if we can quickly go to Kaduna and link up with Sunday Adeleye. Sunday, if you can hear me, it's good to have you join us on the show. Okay, we'll work on that and get it to you on the show. We were hoping that we'll be able to link up with Sunday and get his thoughts, especially as regards the expectations from the athletes representing Nigeria, and also how well prepared he thinks that the athletes are. So we'll do that when we're ready. Hopefully that will be very, very soon. Okay, so let's move on the show, as we'll still talk about athletics. Maybe we should just take a look at some of the names that we expect to do us proud in athletics. Some of them, just had to say it again. You look at the relays. The relays, one of the areas you expect Nigeria to do well, pick up medals. Has always been our strong point, and we hope that we get to pick up something. We hope the issues of Burton exchange will not cost us dearly. We've seen it. We've seen it countless number of times where Burton exchanges cost Nigeria, medals and take us away from the medal zone. But we hope this will not be the case. Like I said, if our performance in Morocco is anything to go by, you would expect Nigeria to be able to get something. Nigeria is going to feature in 15 events right there, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to, get something good, put up a decent performance, and come back to see what else we need to do as we prepare for the 2020 Olympics. All right, so that's it. Okay, so that's it. Let's go back to the list that we were looking at earlier. We somehow didn't talk about the guys. So let's see if we can talk about the guys and take a look at some of the names that we left out. So let's quickly go back to that list and start with the guys. That's it. Talk about the guys. You look at the names that you have on that list. You have Usherishe Ishekiri, you have Divine Oduduru, and you have Raymond Ekevo, all in the 100 meters. They will be representing Nigeria in that one. Of course, you look at men's 200 meters, you have Emmanuel Arowolo, Divine Oduduru. Those two guys will be hoping that they get us something, and they're quite capable of doing that, I must say. In the men's 800 meters, you have Edoze Ibadan. Is Nigeria's sole representative in the men's 800 meters. That's it. So, all the best to him. And you have men's 400 meters hurdles. 400 meter hurdles. You have the real one, Alowole. That's the guy that a lot will be expected from. All right, so that's it. Okay, so let's leave the guys and go to the officials now. Let's go to the Kaduna quickly and talk with Sunday Adele. Sunday, if you can hear me, it's good to have you join us on the show tonight.
Hey, hello, good evening.
All right, so let's, from your, let's get your assessment. I mean, that's really, we like to feel your pause. Of course, we now know the athletes that will be representing Nigeria at the IAAF World Athletics Championship. As a crucial stakeholder, what are your expectations from Team Nigeria?
Well, of course, with the level of athletes or calibers of athletes we have, of course, we've been building them over time, and then, of course, performance. What we expect from them is a very high performance this time around.
Let me ask you. I mean, you know some of the things we do not know. In terms of preparation, how well prepared do you think our athletes going into this? How well prepared do you think they are? Probably on a scale of 1 to 10, if you look at each individual athlete or as a group, how well prepared do you think we are as we go into?
To be honest with you, as a technical director of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, I would say 4 to 6. Because I wouldn't say we've not been preparing because of the All African Games. We just came out of the All African Games. And then, of course, we should have converged immediately after the All African Games because this is World Championship. And, of course, the event is way higher than the African Games because of to manage the crisis of the relays and then see how we can do exchange and stuff. But unfortunately, we have not been able to do that because, of course, of some little issues here and there. And then, of course, we have some athletes in the U.S. and some in Nigeria, but never, that's not it all. But at least we have a strong set of the team in Nigeria here that we will have put together. But in the level of preparation, I should say we've done the average.
Okay. Very honest assessment in there. But a lot of people are looking at what we did in Morocco, the African Games, even though you could also argue that it wasn't against the world's elite. But a lot of people are saying if we could do as much as we did in Morocco, then we should expect that we will get something in Doha. I mean, better than previous editions.
Yeah, my brother, this is not athletics is not rocket science. You understand? If you don't, you can't give what you don't have. You understand? If we're talking about Morocco, yes, we did in the African stage. We dominated Africa as in athletics. We won. We are the African champion in athletics in Africa because we won over against South Africa, Egypt, and so on and so forth. But of course, we're talking about the world now. About 215 countries we're going to compete against. And then if we want to do business, I tell you, we will do it professionally. And then, of course, I want to be very honest here that I would say the athletes individually have been doing their own in their own capacity. The coaches have been doing their own very best, of course. And then, of course, as a federation, we have also tried our own best. But of course, there are some one or two hurdles that we still we encounter in preparing these athletes, and then of course it's been very tough for us. But we will just go there and give it our shot.
All right, let me ask you this. I want you to talk as a Nigerian, not as a technical director. Now, talk as a Nigerian, as an athletics fan. Where is our strong points? If you were put on the spot and say, okay, where do you think a medal could come from? You look at those 25. I mean, which one of them or which event you think, if there's ever a chance of us winning a medal of any color, it will be in this event?
Well, you don't want me to talk as a Nigerian, as an athletics person or what have you. I should talk as a Nigerian. I will tell you that I would look at the relays, I will look at the long jump, I will look at the 100 hurdles, I will look at, well, you know what? We look at the throws.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, but so I guess we just leave it at that. But let's also let me just throw this in, since you've given us a picture of what you expect, and listening to you, I guess we should just be cautiously optimistic, not get too carried away, but still being optimistic. Let's talk about what's happening on the domestic scene. What are the things happening? We're looking at Tokyo. A lot of people are saying the time is too short to do anything meaningful. You've also talked about preparation, but do you still think that there's something that could be done, maybe with athletes that are not going to be in Doha, to help them probably make the team to the next Olympics?
Well, if you're talking about Olympic is actually a big stage. We will not go to Olympics without a proper preparation, as in terms of talking about competitions. These athletes in Nigeria need more competitions. Wherever they are as Nigerian athletes, we need them to go into more competition because the more you compete, the better you become. You understand? I actually talked to someone today and I was making some analysis. For example, 2017, we went for the Commonwealth Games, and Tobiloba Moso, before she came for the Commonwealth Games, she competed, she raced 46 times before coming there. That has put her already on a set position. Now, and then you have another athlete from Nigeria that is trying to go for the same Commonwealth Games, and you want that athlete to do well, and that athlete just competed like about 3 times the whole season. It doesn't work like that. If you go to the US, you see over 100 and something meetings, there's athletics competitions there. If you go to Europe, you see mountain competitions everywhere and there. Go to common Botswana here, go to South Africa, they have lots of competition. Here we struggle to do at least 3, 4 a year. And then we expect this athlete to do well. If we want to do well in the Olympics, let's have more competitions, let's have more camps, let's go out of the country, let's take these athletes out for foreign camps and then let them stay there. They need concentration and they need to be focused. So we should look at all those areas and the welfare of the athletes. If these athletes are happy, I tell you they will give their 101% for Nigeria.
All right, Sunday Adile, Technical Director of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. I want to thank you for speaking to us tonight. Hopefully, we'll be able to have you again, maybe when everything is done right there in Doha, maybe probably, assess what happened. But once again, I want to thank you for your time.